Welcome to CivilNet. My guest joining me via Skype from Toronto is Raffi Bedrosyan. He is the founder of an initiative called Project Rebirth. Raffi, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
You're a very interesting character, if I may use that term. You are a civil engineer and also a concert pianist. And aside from that, aside from being a benefactor and an entrepreneur and helping Armenia through the years since independence, you have also embarked on a very interesting initiative that began, I think, or the first steps were taken last year when you brought a group of Islamized Armenians to the Republic of Armenia from Diyarbakir in Turkey. This year you brought another 80. Tell me, if you will, why you feel this is an important mission that obviously is an integral part of your life.
Thanks, Maria. Yes, it's now a new resurgence or rebirth, as I call it, in Turkey, that ever since the reconstruction of the Surp Giragos Church in Diyarbakir, hidden Armenians are showing the courage to come out first as Armenians, revealing their Armenian identity, as being the grandchildren of living victims of genocide or orphans from 1915, and they have kept hidden their identities, and now they're coming out as Armenians, and then also some of them are coming out as Christian Armenians as they get baptized and become Christian as well as Armenian. So it's my objective to help them, encourage them to find their roots, their culture, their language, and one of the most effective ways of doing this is bringing them to Armenia. So we are cooperating with the Ministry of Diaspora through the Aridun program, and we are bringing Armenians, hidden Armenians from Turkey to Yerevan, and then going to several places in Armenia to find their roots, culture, language, as I said. And the program, yeah.
No, I mean, I wanted to talk about the term you used, living victims. We don't think about it that way, but their grandparents or great-grandparents were Armenian orphans who were forcibly taken into Muslim, Turkish or Kurdish families. 10, 20 years ago, this would have been unthinkable. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Very true, yes. And they kept their identities hidden. And even though they were Islamized, Turkified, Kurdified, they knew that they had Armenian roots. Some of them found out late in life at the deathbed of their parents or grandparents. Some of them knew from childhood, but were told to keep it as a secret. But now they feel that they have to come out and reveal their identities.
I suspect it takes a lot of courage for them to do so. What is the motivation, other than, okay, I understand trying to reconnect with your heritage and your roots, but then they have to go back to their Muslim families and community. What has, last year the 50 that came and then returned, and now this new group that came and have returned back to their homes in different cities in Turkey, what have the reactions been there? Do you know?
Yes, there is considerable risk in employment. Christians and Armenians cannot be employed in public sector, for example. There may be backlash from their neighbors, even from their own family members who prefer to remain Muslim or Turkish or Kurdish. So there are all these potential risks for them, but they have come to a point that they cannot hide it anymore, and the risk of coming out outweighs all the other dangers. So they want to be known as Armenians from now on, and this is a historic first step that in historic Armenia we are now finding Armenians reborn and reliving again.
It's an incredible story, Raffi. Before we talk about what they actually did while they were here, and I know that you gave them a concert. As I said, you're a concert pianist. How do you find them? I mean, Is there an organization? I know your Project Rebirth, but is it yourself? Do you go there, or do you work with organizations? How do you find them?
It has reached a point that they find me, actually. It started with Surp Kiragos Church reconstruction. During the opening of that church, I realized one of my objectives that I kept saying that all these hidden Armenians will come to this opening, and this church is crucial, like a magnet attracting them. So we met some of them during the opening. In fact, we met some of them during the construction of the church, as they worked in the reconstruction of the church as hidden Armenians, as Turks and Muslim Kurds. But then slowly they're coming out, and through social media, Facebook, I've kept in touch with them, and it's a one-man organization, but it's growing by leaps and bounds, and next year will be an even bigger amount. And I should say that the Project Rebirth is not only these two trips, but in between there is a lot of cooperation. Some of them may lose their jobs, some of them may have family problems, and I'm trying to find funding and help for them in many, many ways in between these trips.
It certainly is a gargantuan task that you've taken upon yourself, Raffi. Talk to me now, if you will, about the actual process of bringing them here and which cities they were from. And you mentioned Aridun, the initiative of the Diaspora Ministry, but did you have other organizations or individuals who helped finance or with logistics for this recent trip?
Last year, as you said, it was only from Diyarbakir. And I should say that in March, I helped bring 12 elected village officials from Dersim, all hidden Armenians. It's unheard of to have Armenians elected as village officials, but they came out, and I brought them to Yerevan in March. But this was the big trip that for 80 people, some of them were from Diyarbakir again, from Dersim, from Sasun, from Urfa, and most notably from the Hemşin region in northeast Turkey, from Hopa and Artvin. So all these people had expressed interest, and I organized this trip to coincide with the Pan-Armenian Games in the first week of August, which would result in more interaction with Armenians from Armenia as well as from other parts of the world. So we all gathered them. Some of them came by chartered bus, some by rail from Batum, from Tiflis, with their own cars or public transport. And I met them in Yerevan. And then we joined the Aridun program, which takes basically youth from diaspora to different parts of Armenia, like Oshagan and Karni, Kegart, Genocide Museum, Noravank, different places. But I should say that every morning our group had Armenian language classes in Yerevan for an hour and a half. And then we went on these expeditions. And then in the evenings, when we returned, there were some cultural activities. And one of them, as you said, was my concert.
Right. Raffi, it's last year when you had brought the 50 Islamized Armenians, we did an interview here at CivilNet with you. And at that time, if I remember correctly, 2 or 3 of those Islamized Armenians decided to be baptized, to convert.
2 of them, yes.
2 of them, to convert to Christianity. This year, there was a little bit of a, perhaps we can call it a controversy, misunderstanding, where 3 of the 80 decided that they too wanted to be baptized. And, as you said, there's a potential threat in doing that. And yet, the Armenian Church refused to baptize them. Please explain to us what happened and what steps are you taking to prevent such a thing again in the future, if there needs to be some kind of negotiation with the church, that is.
Yes, unfortunately, this year, the dream of these 3 youth, 2 girls from Dersim and 1 young man from Diyarbakir, we couldn't realize and for various reasons, the church wasn't prepared to baptize them as Christian Armenians. We were given several explanations. I'm not going to speculate why, but looks like unless there is previous permission obtained from Istanbul Patriarchate, and unless there is written application for these baptism requests several months in advance, it's not possible to baptize hidden Armenians.
I'm going to interrupt you because these three Islamized Armenians, they don't belong to the Armenian Church. So why is it that the Istanbul Patriarchate has to allow them to be baptized in Armenia by the Armenian Apostolic Church here?
Well, as I said, these were the reasons given to me. I don't know the validity or the reasoning behind these things, but I was very disappointed, and more than me, these three people were disappointed that all their desire was to become Christian Armenians, over and above becoming Armenians, and we couldn't make that happen. And even Minister of Diaspora intervened with Echmiadzin, but unfortunately it didn't work out. I should say that, but each day we were promised that something may happen the next day, tomorrow. So each day, these three people, we had the towels and the crosses and the headscarves for the girls, getting ready and getting, full of hope again. It may happen today, and then let down and disappointment at the end of the day again. So hopefully by next year, things may work out. And just like we did last year, very easily, we had done the two. That's from now on, we should be able to do these without too much advance notice or too much preparation.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Just as a final question, I was reading that you said, it was written that the ultimate mission or goal of Project Rebirth, the organization that you have founded, is to create an Armenian presence again on historic Armenian lands in Turkey. Quite an ambitious statement. Is this what you feel the mission of Project Rebirth is?
Yes, in the long term, and it's not only making these Armenians come out, but also having these Armenians prepare the ground for reconstructing churches and reborn culture and reborn architecture in historic Armenia as well. We cannot do these things from the diaspora or even from Armenia. Only people on the ground should be the first ones to initiate and take these big steps. And it's our duty to help them to first become Armenians and then to work and live as Armenians, bringing out historic Armenia on Armenia.
Big steps, big ambitions, a very worthwhile project. Raffi Bedrosyan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about this initiative and all the work that you do. And hopefully we will see you here in Armenia again next summer with even more Islamized Armenians.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thanks.
Thank you. I'd like to remind our viewers that my guest was the founder of Project Rebirth, Raffi Bedrosyan, who joined us via Skype from Toronto, Canada. Keep following CivilNet.